Hello, welcome to week week 4, sorry, I'm thinking ahead. I tried to record this already, I got a good 15 minutes in before the fire alarm went off, so I'm on take 2 now. So once again, we'll be going in chronological order. First battles played will be the first ones I go over. This might be quicker, I got a class coming up in about an hour that I gotta make, so and at the same time, I got a bit of a sore throat, so I might just be talking less in general. But yeah, some of these battles, there's not really a ton to say, besides they screwed up one thing. So, yeah. First off, we got Excelsior versus Birdz. We have a very standard first couple turns here. Terraground Torkoal, probably just a very standard defensive typing, you know. Yeah. Terragrounds, also, if you see the Dracozolt, you can just lead Torkoal and Terraground off rip, and you'll probably be okay. Terra Electric Hydreigon is a massive threat to Excelsior's team. If it Terra Electrics, he can't beat it. If it's Terra Electric Nasty Plot, he just doesn't have an answer. So, yeah, there's that to be scared of. But we're going to see a very standard first few turns. We're just going to see a trade for rocks. They're both going to pivot out to their removal. They're both going to click their removal. Yep, if I'm Birdz, I read the Defog and Plume, but that's just me. He's going to go right out to the Venusaur, to which, of course, we're going to set the Rotom out and click Overheat. Yep. You have to Volt Switch now. And Defog, right? No, actually, we click Foul Play, which does a whole 31%. You should just be trying to keep hazards down, in my opinion. I think just alternating Defog Foul Play, because this thing's going to have to click Stealth Rock Recover, like, would be the play. That means you can beat this 1v1, unless it teleports out, but even then, you have so much health that it shouldn't matter. It's going to click Stealth Rock this turn. You turning out, I don't think is a good idea. In all honesty, like, you 1v1 this thing. If you're assuming last move, it's a Psychic move, you just 1v1 this thing. Like, you could just mash Foul Play Defog endlessly, and this thing is forced to switch out itself. I don't think U-turning is correct. And, I mean, I didn't even mention the double Stealth Rock here, by the way, which is just very questionable, but you could have recovered that turn, you could have teleported, there's a lot of things that could have been done. Out comes the Hippo. It's going to kill. This is going to trade Psycho Boost for Earthquake, and it's going to die. That damage on Hippo is really good, because I was going to criticize not recovering, but if we're being real, that damage on Hippo is really good for Birdz. It opens up the Hydreigon and the Gouge so much more, which I believe is exactly what comes out. In comes the Hydreigon. It's going to Terra Electric Nasty Plot. Excelsior here is going to say, okay, it's Terra Electric, it's probably Terra Blast for the Mandibuzz, right? That makes sense. I'm going to go to my ground type, Excadrill. This is a bad idea. Birdz is Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, Dragon move, I'm pretty sure. And Birdz is going to click Flip Turn. It's going to click Flamethrower this turn to hurt the Mandibuzz. Because at the end of the day, this Mandibuzz simply cannot touch this Hydreigon. It can't do anything to hurt it. So Birdz is just going to click Flame, and you know, Excelsior is who goes to Excadrill on this. Yeah. I don't know why we made this call when we had a Zorua to sack still. I also don't know why the Zorua was brought, by the way. I really am not sure what it was doing here. But no, I think just sacking the Zorua and getting this in for free was a lot better. Because then you could have Terra Fairy'd in front of it, and everything would have been okay. I see the plan. Like, you want to switch hard in this on the Terra Blast, click Terra Fairy and wall it, and then just kill it, right? I think it would have been much safer just to sack the Zorua and get this in for free. Because you can Terra Fairy, Swords Dance, and then literally something has to die on the opposite team. Something has to die. Which would have been significantly better in my opinion. But it is what it is. Out comes the Rotom Heat. And then we're gonna double the Hippo. I don't know why we're doing all this. No, I just genuinely don't know why. Yeah, I mean, this is just losing... You lose 25% on your Rotom, you kill your Hippo for no reason. And then out comes Mandibuzz, which, like, is another victim. Gets rid of rocks, but, like, now you lose the Mandibuzz as well. Yeah, this needed to come out immediately. This needed to be it needed to be sack Zorua, get Excadrill and Intera, or sack Zorua and go straight to this. It was not sack 3 months and then go to this. We're gonna see Mega, Calm Mind, perfectly fine play. I think you could probably CM a second time, if we're being honest. No, you can't actually. No, you need it to just die because you have to take a hit from Venusaur now. Sludge Bomb's gonna come off. It's gonna poison. So this dies. I think that was a roll anyways. I couldn't tell you for sure. I don't know either spread, but even if that poison doesn't come off, Birdz has Prankster Destiny Bond on the Banette, which means that this was dead anyways because it's faster. So he Prankster Destiny Bonds, and if Excelsior Calm Minds instead, then Birdz just attacks next turn and kills the Gardevoir. So there was no getting around losing here. But he does get the Excelsior does get the Venusaur anyways. The game is over at this point. There is nothing you can do. Gonna taunt on the Destiny Bond, and then he's gonna Poltergeist, kill this, and in comes Zorua. Can't hit it because Poltergeist. Trick Scarf, but at this point it doesn't matter. Pretty dominating from Birdz in his debut. Good for him. Excelsior, I feel, misprepped and misplayed. He kind of floundered when the Hydreigon came off, which it would not have been that big of an issue if he played it right. And sacking Zorua was, bringing Zorua in general was just very questionable. But yeah, I don't have a ton more to say about that. Pretty dominating from Birdz. He didn't really misplay. Took advantage of the situation. That Terra Electric Nasty Plot set, I mean, it's right there. Very nasty set. Wefflez versus Eldritch. There's not much to go over here either. We're going to see lead Kyurem versus lead Raichu. He's going to switch and try to catch something like a Volt Switch. He catches a Nuzzle, so that's a really good start. He's going to put rocks up, assuming a switch is coming. This is actually Screens Raichu, which I think is a really good bring. And then Eldritch is going to switch. As this clicks Earth Power, not Earthquake, and gets not only crit, but also Spit Off Drop. So yeah, overall, pretty good couple turns for both parties. And then the Zarude comes out hard on this to resist the Ivy Cudgel. It crits, and then Wefflez just forgets to Terra on this foul play, or this play rough, sorry. Yeah, that's just... I know Wefflez was like on 2 hours of sleep for this game, so it happens, but we're gonna see a Willow come off. I think you should actually just be Sludge Bombing here. That or clicking a Fire move, if you have it, because the Goldengo, I feel, is so obvious. We're going to see a couple trades here as the Small Wild comes out. Eldritch is going to Encore it into Knock, which I think is a really good play. He ends up having to sack his Scream Tail in order to keep it stuck in Knockoff, but I think that's a great play. He's going to go hard Great Tusk, which again, it didn't really threaten him anyways, but now he gets free rocks, because he knows the Small Wild is certainly not staying in when he can only click Knockoff. And then he gets to go hard Goldengo because this stops everything Weezing wants to do. Wefflez is going to go hard Slowking. It's Boots Slowking. He's going to say, oh, I forgot my type matchups. And then he's going to go to Weezing and then click Sludge Bomb. Forgot my type charts again, no biggie. Yeah, you forgot them again. I'm sorry, man. Yeah. If we're being real, Slowking always takes a Shadow Ball. He should just stand and Scald and sack it. He doesn't need the Slowking, really, at this point, if we're being honest, because Weezing beats Great Tusk, Raging Bolt is going to beat this anyways. I mean, it loses to everything, alright? The Slowking loses to everything. Ogerpon beats it, Goldengo beats it, Raichu beats it, Raging Bolt beats it, and even Great Tusk. Like, it might take a hit from Great Tusk, but you have a whole Weezing. there was no reason to keep the Slowking around. He should have just stayed in to get chip and break sub, because this sub is really scary. So Wefflez is going to take his +6. So that's a +6 Goldengo behind a sub versus this team. Yeah, you don't need to see the rest of this game. You can kind of guess how it ended. Yeah. Don't forget your type matchups. Don't forget the basics. Very good bring from Eldritch. Very not greatly played from Wefflez, but it happens. Yeah, I think a lot to say about that, but I won't be too harsh because I understand he's newer to the game. So, yeah. I forgot to restart this after the fire alarm went off. Yeah, me versus Sophie. There's not a ton to say here. There's a little bit I could talk about in terms of being able to read your opponent's sets. So I'll go into that a little bit. I led Wheezing because I feared lead Flygon. Everything else on my team doesn't want to deal with Flygon. I want Suicune at full health always because it beats Megalade 1v1 as long as it doesn't get flinched. Wheezing beats Flygon, Annihilate is Scarf, so it outspeeds everything. Deoxys speed is Sash with counter Mirror Code in case either of these two mons get particularly out of hand. And then Mence is D-Dance. Heatran is full spit F to stop Iron Moth. So I see lead Rotom. I don't have a reason to not Sludge Bomb here in my opinion, so that's exactly what I do. The best switch in for Sludge Bomb is going to be Moth. If Moth comes out, I go straight to Heatran and I put my rocks up. It doesn't matter. I see Electric Terrain go up, and it takes me all of 2 seconds to realize, okay, it's Meteor Beam Iron Moth. Why is it taking me all of 2 seconds to realize this? What does Electric Terrain do for Sophie? Okay, look at this team and look at Electric Terrain. Okay, there's 2 things it can do. It can be Rising Voltage Rotom, which I think is very stupid, and I don't think there's a lot of reason to run Electric Terrain Rising Voltage over just Thunderbolt. And then there's Quark Drive Iron Moth, the more obvious solution. To which I go, okay, so the Iron Moth is going to be Quark Drive, right? That's exactly what's happening. So, you know, let's look at Heatran. Let's look at Iron Moth. You know, probably going to be max attack, no investment, right? It's going to have Booster Attack. It's not going to be Energy. It's going to be Power or Meteor Beam. Why do I know it's going to be Power or Meteor Beam? Because this Iron Moth literally gets nothing to hit this Heatran. Its dual stabs don't hit it. Its best coverage is Discharge. That's it. Actually, is it Thunderbolt? It's whatever the electric move this Iron Moth gets. That's its best move to hit this Heatran. Which, at a max spit F Heatran, is doing, like, nothing. Here, this is an offensive Heatran. I want a spit F Heatran, and a full spit F Heatran. I had no speed. I was literally 252s. So if we say Discharge, no Terrain, no Quark Drive, 16 to 19. Yeah, see, this cannot touch me at all. Look at these damages. So, let's say, with the Electric Terrain, right? Now, add Meteor Beam, right? 48 to 56, the +1 that you get from Meteor Beam, look at how much damage that is doing. Like, all this combined, I'm taking 75, and then the +1 Discharge is finishing me off. So, this could mean the Iron Moth can snowball and win this game, right? So I go, okay, I need to, all this is gonna do now is Volt Switch into Iron Moth and kill my Heatran. How do I stop this? And then I noticed that my Wheezing has Defog, so that's exactly what I do, is I defog away the Electric Terrain. Yep. And then I know exactly what this is going to do. It doesn't matter. Heatran's always my switch to this. It's my guaranteed answer. You can see how much that did. Imagine that with a Quark Drive boost. And then next turn, yeah. I'm not going to Stealth Rock because of Hatterene. I'm going to Earth Power. The other reason is because if this stays in and clicks Discharge, it might 2-code me from this range. So I need to finish it off with Earth Power. But out comes a Hatterene. I miss a Magma Storm as it nuzzles me. I guess Sophie was just reading me to not have Flash Cannon, which, I mean, I didn't, so that's fair. But it was a little risky. Though I will say, this Hatterene set, very good. Nuzzle Future Sight into Healing Wish. It's just a suicide, like, setup of a Pokemon. And I think that's really cool. Out comes Flygon. Yeah, and this is where things fell apart for Sophie. Future Sight is landing this turn, and this Flygon is threatening Earthquake. I have no switches, just straight up. Something has to die in my team. Suicune's my answer for Megalade, so that's not an option. Weezing's my answer for Flygon when there isn't a Future Sight, because otherwise I don't really want to switch into it. And also, Earthquake is just kind of free to click for the most part, especially if it's something like Dragon Dance. Like, I'm going to have a really tough time dealing with it without Weezing. So Weezing is not an option either. Deoxys Speed is literally like, if shit hits the fan, I go to Deoxys Speed. It's Sash with Counter and Mirror Coat, because I'm like 90% sure Gallade's going to be Agility to outspeed it, and Darkrai could be Scarf to outspeed it. So Deoxys can trade for one of those guaranteed. It can also trade in the case this is D-Dance. And I don't want to sack my Annihilate either, because it's faster than both of these without any boosts. And it lives one from Darkrai if it is Scarf. So I don't want to sack my Annihilate. It's too valuable. So I go, okay, well, the Iron Moth already used its Power Herb. Here's what I can do. I need to win with D-Dance very soon, because this is D-Dance Meds. I need to win very soon. I can do that. It's not going to be the most difficult thing in the world. It's going to be annoying with this Flygon on the field, but as long as I chip down the Flygon, just a little bit, I can win with the Mets. It's not terribly improbable, and I can do it soon. And I have to do it soon, because with Megalade Darkrai breathing down my neck, it's going to be difficult. Suicune's my new answer for Iron Moth. I know it's got an electric move, it doesn't matter. Suicune's bulky as shit and has water moves. So, I'm going to designate that as my answer to Iron Moth instead of Heatran. And then if one of Gallade or Darkrai comes in, I have to soak with Annihilate, because it's going to live one. And then click my Scarf move. And force it out. And then again, if shit hits the fan, I always have Deoxys Speed. Heatran has to go, because Heatran at this point, it takes hits from Darkrai, and takes hits from Rotom-Mow, but I'm not worried about Rotom-Mow at all for the rest of my team. Rotom-Mow just kind of loses to everything right now, because it's so low. But I don't need to worry too hard about Darkrai. Also, Weezing kind of handles it, because I'm Psychic Resist Berry. And Heatran loses to everything else. It loses to Earthquake from this, CC from this, and these are the two mons that I need to be able to deal with the most, and Heatran can't deal with that right now. So I decided to sack Heatran. Sophie reads way too much into it and clicks Terra Blast, which is a terrible play, because Earthquake forces a death no matter what. Like, if this is what I think it is, and it's Max Attack Hatterene, like, let's say it's Max Attack Modest Hatterene, let's go to, like, a normal Salamence, right? Well, even a bulky Salamence, like 252 HP, right? Future Sight is doing 68 to 80. That's insane! That's insane! You should just click Earthquake this turn, because I'm basically losing a mon always. But she said in the post-game, she forgot about the Future Sight, which, like, listen, I understand it happens, but if you're going to run a set like this, which just feels like Nuzzle into Suicide Future Sight, you have to remember the Future Sight. Like, you have to. So I get to stay in this turn, I put the rocks up, and at this point, I still am down to sack Heatran. Also, I'm paralyzed. Like, there's a chance I just get parried every turn. So I'm totally down to sack Heatran now. But instead, Sophie switches, which really threw me off. But then I realized, oh wait, that means it has to be Scarf, right? Because that's not banded damage. It's not. It's not going to be Specs. I calc Specs at this point to see if potentially Terra Blast was special. That would be stupid, because Spadef Heatran is really obvious in this matchup, and Sophie knows that, and it's exactly why she ran Choice Scarf Physical Terra Blast. So. But no, that immediately tells me it's Scarf, because otherwise she'd just stay in and click Earthquake, instead of go straight to Gallade. I believe I went to Annihilate. Oh no, yeah, okay, so I was like, okay, well now I get to keep Heatran, because the Future Sight isn't a worry anymore. I have Scarf Annihilate, so because I didn't know it was Scarf yet, I was like, I have Scarf Annihilate, I can just go to it, take a hit, and click Scarf Drain Punch, or click Scarf U-Turn, Scarf Rage Fist. Something has to take a big hit from this Annihilate, so it doesn't really matter to me. But because of the switch on the Flygon, I know that it's Scarf, and I get it in on this Gallade, and I'm like, okay, well, now I know what to do. I get my chip with U-Turn, it does 30, which is crazy, and then I go straight to Suicune, because it's always my play. This clicks Agility, again, I knew that was coming, knocks off my leftovers, again, this is always, I can stack all the HP on this, it is always my answer to Gallade, and 2 Scalds are enough to kill it. The Flygon comes right back out. By the way, the Healing Wish is still in the air, by the way. This is because Healing Wish, when a hurt Mon switches in, Healing Wish will proc. That doesn't include if a Mon switches in and takes hazards, if it's switched in from full, like this Flygon did here. So there's still a Healing Wish on Sophie's side of the field here. But I wasn't too worried about it, because all of her Mons were full, and half of them were weak to rocks, so I wasn't, like, super crazy about that. I just hard switch Annihilate on this. This is because Annihilate at this point, because he's Scarf, he's faster than everything. Maybe it's Scarf, right? If it is, I can trade with Deoxys. I have hits from Wheezing I can take. I could use to deal with it. Annihilate just has a bunch of HP that I'm ready to sack, because I don't need HP and Annihilate because I'm running Scarf. At the same time, a hit on this means to stack a Rage Fist. But after that, after raw Outrage, I figured it was Scarf before, but now I know it's Scarf. So I immediately switched to Wheezing, knowing this can't switch moves to Terra Blast Ice, which is the entire reason I didn't go Wheezing in the first place, because 2 Terra Blast Ice could kill me, I'm pretty sure. I believe it could have killed me. And if not, it would have worn me down enough that a switch out and switch back in on 2 more would have killed me. So I didn't want to take that hit, which is why I just figured go Annihilate. If it's Terra Blast Ice, I resist, and it's fine. Or no, I don't resist, my bad. But I'll take it just fine. I'll be Scarf. It might be Scarf. We'll see. Again, Annihilate. I'm just trying to take a hit and see what it goes for. Because if it Scarfs into Earthquake or Outrage, I go straight to Wheezing. If it clicks Terra Blast Ice, I just go to Heatran. Like, Annihilate is just stackable HP for me to figure out what this thing is choiced into. As soon as I see Outrage, I'm going straight to my Wheezing. It's stuck in Outrage, which is great for me. It just means I get a free attack. I do all of 11% to this, but again, I don't mind this Mon coming in, because it means I just go straight to Heatran. It's going to Fiery Dance. I'm going to get a Flash Fire. I believe I clicked Body Press this turn. Yeah, because I didn't want to miss Magma Storm. Oh, did my music pause? I guess it did. Oh, it did. Loop that, please. Yeah, and I figured it would do a lot more of this Flygon. That did a lot less than I thought. If I knew it didn't kill, I probably would have just Magma Stormed and gone for the hit, but yeah. Oh, also, yeah, Healing Wish heals this up, so. But it still takes rocks plus the Body Press, so it's still dead to the next rocks. And at this point, I'm ready to let Wheezing go. If it clicks Terra Blast Ice on my Wheezing coming in, I'm just gonna let it die and then go to Suicune. Because I know it's Scarf, or back to Heatran, because at this point this thing literally has to stay in, because if it switches again it's dead to rocks on entry. So because this is basically dead, I don't need Wheezing anymore, because that's really all Wheezing was good for. It helped versus Darkrai, but I still have my Heatran, so I'm not worried at all versus Darkrai. But it just clicks Earthquake, which is again another reason why, like, well, not another reason, but the big reason why I just don't think Scarf was great here. But yeah, we see this come back out. I'm just going to go straight back to my Heatran. I'm going to take another Meteor Beam. It's only going to do about 42. I get full Parad. Doesn't matter. I'm just going to kill him. I'm just going to kill with Earth Power. Sophie had to rely on full Paras there. This comes out. I literally, like, it cannot touch me, so I'm just going to stay in and hit it. I'm not sure what the plan was there. This dies to rocks, and then the Darkrai comes out. I believe it's going to get a Paraflinch here, but I'm down to sack at this point. I don't need to preserve the 6-0. I'm not that type of guy. I also thought one body press might have been enough, but again, I wasn't defense invested, so that makes sense. And then I'm like, if it's Scarf, it's Scarf. I'll just go to my Deoxys. I didn't feel like risking it with, because my Deoxys was Sash, I didn't feel like risking it with flinches. So I was like, if it's Scarf, it's Scarf. Otherwise, I'm just going to go to my Scarf herb and just get the kill. So yeah. Yeah, not a ton to say there. Just in terms of, I was able to read what was going on here. I had outs to Sophie's main sweepers. Yeah, and I was able to preserve my team enough that when the sweepers did come out, it didn't even really matter, because I had so much health. So yeah. Logan versus Cable is an interesting one. I don't fully remember this battle, but well, we'll just go right into it. We're gonna see lead Zapdos versus Palafin. You have to switch, obviously. Straight to the Sandy Shocks. Yep, this is good so far. Shocks is Terra Ghost. But yeah, we're gonna see Stealth Wreck into Earth Power, and its eject button into the Dugtrio. To which we see an immediate switch, meaning that it's actually Shed Shell Sandy Shocks. So I think Terra Ghost was so you could get swapped out from Arena Trap, because you can't be trapped if you're a Ghost mod. And I think the goal was Terra Ghost and get out, but at the same time, you can tell he wants to Terra Articuno in this matchup, because he brought it, and look at flying into this team, it's beautiful. I think the Ghost was just a backup in case he got his Shed Shell knocked off, but that or Cable was just not running Arena Trap, which I don't think Cable's that bad at the game, so yeah, we're gonna see the Shed Shell Earthquake, very smart play. He's actually gonna protect as this Fortress comes out. And Logan's going to put a T-Spike up. Very obvious Rapid Spin coming. We should see a Volt Switch here. Yep. And out comes William. I don't particularly know why the Politoed's coming out this time, because I don't know what it's supposed to do. Yeah, it tries to click Encore. But you should know from the +1 speed, like it's 280 speed, it already outspeeds you naturally. With the +1 for the Rapid Spin, it's always outspeeding you, so like, it's gonna be able to click a move. So I don't know. We're gonna see Hurricane come off, it does a lot of damage. And then we're gonna see another Hurricane, meaning that this is fast, because I don't think this is very bulky. And then we're gonna see Thunder only does 36. That Hurricane damage combined with the Thunder, as a spectator, I ran the calcs and realized that this is offensive Zapdos, speed and Spatak with Assault Vest. So there's no Roost on this Zapdos, which is a crazy bring. He gets the Hurricane roll here, and Logan just goes straight to Overquill. Out comes the Blastoise, because why wouldn't it? Crunch isn't doing enough. It's going to take Helmet, which is bad, and then get roared out, which is worse. And then here you can just click a pretty easy Volt Switch if you're Logan. But he clicks T-Spike, which I don't think is a good play. I think you just you just have to Volt Switch. And then he goes back to Politoed, which is also not good, because now you're refreshing this thing's Rain Dash. Like, I don't know. Logan, he really should have taken his kill against this Blastoise more than a couple turns ago. Because now this gets to come back out versus the Overquill and get another Rocky Helmet head off. Like, I feel just taking the kill would have been so much better. Like, how much did that last Volt Switch do to it? $21. Yeah, it would have been left on 10 HP. Like, I feel like that would, and then he could have gotten the Articuno right back in. I feel like that would have been way better. But we're gonna see U-turn, which is risky because of static, but we see it nonetheless. This is dead to Thunder always. Out comes Overquill. Swords Dance is gonna come off. He's gonna Thunder, very standard, no para, and then he's gonna get parried from the static. This should have been Gunk Shot. I'm sorry. This should have been Gunk Shot specifically to not get parried, because, I mean, you have to play around static. I don't care that it's 30%, you have to play around it. You don't have a choice. Dugtrio comes in. He thinks he's faster because Swift Swim is effectively neutered by Para, but he actually has Aqua Jet, which is a really good bring. Out comes Sinistcha, it's going to Terra Steel, and then the full Terra comes off. So this Overquill is dead without getting any hits on the Sinistcha, which is bad. Out comes the Articuno. It's going to Psychic Noise, Terra, and Psychic Noise. Shadow Ball is only going to do 37 because of Terra. And then he's going to hard switch to Palafin, which I think is risky. I feel like you should just keep... You should have just hit it again, because at this point, like... Yeah, and then he doubles. I don't know why. Yeah, we're going to see Trick Scarf. I feel like just getting the Psychic Noise damage was better, because then you can just go Palafin right after and it's in range, I'm pretty sure. But we're going to see Bulk Up into Wave Crash, which will kill. He's going to take a shit ton of recoil, though. Oh no, it's Protective Pads, never mind. For the Zapdos, which is smart. We're going to see Moonblast come off. And yeah, that's going to be it, because this can't kill with Drain Punch at this point. Yeah. Yeah, Logan needed to play this way more offensively. He made too many switches that didn't do any damage, and like his team got holes punched in it before he could punch any, which like when you're running Rain is not what you want. Yeah, you just needed to play more aggressive. Like another hit on that Sinistra and Palafin Wave Crash always gets a kill. You still have a Sackley. I don't know. I don't like. He lost too many mons too quick. Losing Shocks and Fortress to Zapdos like was really bad. Yeah. He just didn't have a lot for the Zapdos, to be honest. Just to deal with it in general. That is what it is. Yeah, he should have just brought Arcaludon. Well, I don't know what I'm saying. Right? Was it not just bring Arcaludon? Because that thing like kind of hardwalls Zapdos. I guess every time Zapdos, it can Volt Switch on Arch and then just get in free Valiant. But I think if you run like, you could run like Chople or something and take a hit and kill a Flash Cannon. I just think there were better outs to this than just letting the Zapdos run over the team. Typical versus Lit Fam. Yeah, I helped Typical with this team. Lit Fam brought some stuff, so we'll get right into it. We're going to see lead Corviknight, lead Meowscarada. He knew it was going to lead. We're going to see a U-turn on the Helmet. We're going to see another U-turn on the Skarmory, and it's also going to reveal Helmet. And he's going to go straight to Garg. He's going to hard switch Kyurem Black. This is Cloak Kyurem. He's going to Terra Steel. Litfam's plan was Terra Volt means he ignores abilities, so he was going to Terra Volt Toxic this Garganacl. But because it's Terra Steel, he can't do that. Typical goes straight to Corviknight on this, which is bad because Litfam's only way to hit the Garg was with Fusion Bolt. I think he was fearing Earth Power, so he went to this. So yeah, that's how that transpired. I think low-key, if you're fearing Earth Power, you go to Roaring Moon. Because it's never clicking a Dragon move, and it's not going to click an Ice move. It's clicking Earth Power or Fusion Bolt. I think you just go to Roaring Moon. You resist Fusion Bolt, your Spit Fs, you eat the Earth Power. And then you can click U-turn, you can click, you definitely have to switch, but you can click U-turn, you can click Knock, you can click whatever, and you get a bunch of insight on what this thing's set is, but it is what it is. Out comes this, it's very clearly Boots. He's going to stay in here. The plan with this Tauros was to deal with physical Flame Charge Volcanion, because I was actually kind of worried about in prep. This Volcanion is really scary anyways, so we're going to see the Steam Eruption. Out comes Medicham. This just gets kill. So that's a dead Kyurem. Out comes Rhyperior. He's going to sack this for Zen Headbutt damage, which I believe is totally fair. You don't really have a switch if he's clicking Terra Blast. I guess you could go Corviknight, but yeah. He was also worried about Double Dance, so that's totally fair. We're going to see a crazy play where he goes Roaring Moon, trying to say that it's a Zoroark, and then click Dragon Dance. I don't think that was correct. I think it was better just to go Corv and get Chip, so Zoroark can kill. Or go Corv and click Roost or something. I'm not sure that was the play. Or just go Hard Zoroark and click Specs Hyper Voice, because it was Specs. I'm not sure it would have killed because this is Assault Vest Rhyperior, but going for this Raw D-Dance is super risky. And Litfam just decides to stay in, so yeah. We're going to see Skarm come in as he clicks Iron Head, or Stone Edge, sorry. It does only 33, and then he clicks Knock, doesn't get the roll, and dies for it. Yeah, this is very clearly not a Corviknight. We saw that it was at 30% before, so we're going to see the Hyper Voice. This is going to say that it's Scarf, basically. Or if not, it's just fast. And in comes Garganackle. He's going to stay in this turn as the Lopunny comes in. It's going to get Salt Cured. And it's going to eject button right out to Volcanion. You have to sack Corviknight, and you have to go Zoroark after and click Hyper Voice. It's your only out. And we're going to see exactly that. So, this is where we get to the part of the game where Typical still could have won. I said in VC he had to win two 50-50s in a row. I was wrong. Now, stay with me, because I'm going to go through a lot here. Lifham's clicking one of two moves. He's clicking Knockoff to kill Zoroark, or he's clicking U-turn reading the switch to Garganackle. If Garganackle comes in, he clicks U-turn, he goes Volcanion, clicks Flamethrower, Garganackle dies, or Zoroark dies. Either way, Typical loses, because this is the breakdown, right? At this point, Zoroark beats Volcanion and Rhyperior. They're both in range of Specs Hyper Voice. But it loses to Meowscarada. Garganackle beats Meowscarada, but it loses to the other two. It means Typical can still win if he gets the plays right. So this is what Typical has to do. This is a 50-50 between U-turn and Knock. You have to get this correct. Lifham's going to click Knock. Typical needed to read that and go Garganackle. Typical then needed to win a second 50-50 between doubling back to Zoroark or staying in with the Garganackle. Because Lifham's play is to either click Knock again or switch out. He's definitely switching out, so that's one Typical could have won, because he has 2 Mons at this point to sack. But Typical needed to double back to Zoroark and kill whatever Lifham went out into on the Garganackle. I'm going to say presumably Rhyperior, and kill it with Zoroark. Kill it with Zoroark. The Meowscarada's going to come back in. You have to rinse and repeat. The Meowscarada's going to come right back in. So now imagine this exact situation, except Rhyperior is dead. Typical needs the exact same plays to happen again. He needs to get the 50-50 right between U-turn and Knockoff a second time. Either stand on the U-turn and kill the Volcanion on switch in, and then sack Zoroark, get Garganackle in for free, and beat this 1v1. Or switch Garganackle on the Knockoff, and actually, at that point, I think he could just click Salt Cure and kill the Volcanion, no problem. Would he have? No, I don't think so. I don't think it would have done enough. I think he needed to, Yeah, so if Meowscarada clicks Knock and he gets the Garganackle in a second time, I think he's between doubling to Zoroark, and he could double to Zoroark, or he could click Salt Cure. If he clicks Salt Cure, it's another 50-50 with the Volcanion. Is it? Yeah, it's another 50-50 with the Volcanion, because Typical either switches and sacks Zoroark as Salt Cure kills the Volcanion, because Salt Cure should kill in minimum 2 turns. It's 25% because it's a water type, and Salt Cure as a move is going to do at least more than enough that it's going to be in range of two Salt Cure procs. So, one Salt Cure, the Salt Cure move plus 1 turn of Salt Cure puts us in range of 1 more turn of Salt Cure. So Typical can sack a Zoroark to the Volcanion, and then watch it die to Salt Cure, and then 1v1 the Meowscarada with Garganackle. His other play, because Lifham's out, is to predict that and go back to Meowscarada as Typical doubles to Zoroark. In which Typical is stuck in another 50-50 between U-turn and Knockoff. Or Typical calls the U-turn with Zoroark and kills the Volcanion. And then when Meowscarada comes back in, again, sack, go Garg. Or, going back a couple turns, if he gets to play right. Again, back a couple turns, imagine Rhyperior is dead, Typical still has the same 2 Mons, Meowscarada is out, he goes Garganackle on the Meowscarada, clicking Knockoff, and then doubles back to Zoroark as Lifham switches to Volcanion and kills it with Hyper Voice. That's how Typical can win the game. That's at least 3 to 4 50-50s in a row that he has to get correct. Could he have done it? Maybe. It really depends. But Typical loses the very first one. He tries to call U-turn. Litfam just clicks knock. If we're being real, Typical should have called this because Litfam this is mostly a risk-free knockoff for him, because if he understands the situation the way I did, if Typical goes to Garg on the knockoff, he can just sack one of these mons and then repeat the situation, and that's where the true 50-50 comes down to. But instead, he just kills the Zoroark, which means when Garg comes in, it's just hit it and sack. And then this Rhyperior should kill this at this point. We see Salkir come off, and only does 9. Yeah, he can't kill at this point. Earthquake's gonna finish it off. Yeah, so a 2-0 win for Litfam. Typical still could have won at the end there, but I feel he didn't have much prep for Terra Fairy Rhyperior, and going Roaring Moon that quick was a very interesting play, to say the least, but very good game overall. It was a fun watch. We're going to see Monem versus Sableye here. This game goes pretty quick. Sableye is going to lead Swampert into the Gastrodon. This is a bad lead for him. This is free rocks for Monem. We're going to see this knockoff do way too much, but Sticky Hold means he keeps the item. Good and bad. Good because he keeps the item, bad because that means knockoff is going to be same strength next turn. But he gets big chip on the Muck. Monem's going to go to Amoonguss. He's going to take Helmet, but it's going to get knocked off. He's going to knock again, potentially predicting Switch, but Spore Safety Goggles. He's going to get the Pursuit off. Amoonguss is going to live, which is really clutch, and he's going to go hard this, to which he'll autotomize. Muck is going to knock off his Power Herb, and then he's going to go hard Rillaboom as the Meteor Beam comes off. Or the stage 1 of Meteor Beam comes off. He's going to double and sack Muck. Here's the thing. I think he should have just stayed in. I don't know. It was just Choice Band Rillaboom, by the way. UU Autotomize Sweeper. Meteor Beam at +1. Looks like he kills, actually. But no, this had to be this had to be plus speed because it needed to outspeed Zoroark. What's plus speed minus attack? I should know this. I've been playing this game for 5 years. Timid. So if he's not max speed, which I hope he isn't because of Grassy Glide, Meteor Beam doesn't kill him. So because we was at 94. Yeah, I feel like he should have just stayed in. He would have had no item, so I guess he didn't really have a coverage move to hit it, but even Woodhammer is doing a lot, right? But either way, he sacks the Muck, which is really bad because now this is +2 and everything dies. Out comes Volcarona, that's dead to Air Slash. Out comes Aurora, he can just Terra and resist it, which is exactly what he does. He clicks Air Slash instead of, I believe he had Fire Blast, which I think is a bad play, but I think he just didn't want to miss, which I think is fine. But I think he was such a lead that I think you can just click Fire Blast and be fine, but now that it's not Steel Flying, Sableye can just Grassy Glide this. Monem preserves it as a sack, which I think is fine, especially since this Amoonguss is so free into this Rillaboom. And then he's going to click, what, Sludge Bomb? No, he's going to click Spore reading the Switch, which is very smart from Monem, actually. Putting this to bed, very good. He's going to Giga Drain that with the Terrain Boost and the healing from terrain every turn is ridiculously good. We're going to see a 2-turn sleep on the Landorus, average RNG. Earth Power is going to come off, it's going to live, and down goes the Landorus. At this point, Sableye is super lost. There is nothing he can do to win this. We're going to see the Celesteela sack this turn, which is totally fair. Amoonguss is going to come right back out, as it should. It's going to click Sludge Bomb. It's going to kill with a crit. That was a roll to kill. I think it was 50-50, but also a Sludge Bomb chance. I think Monem had more than enough to kill there. Or he was higher odds to kill there. And if not, all he has to do is just sack another Mon, get the Spookus right back in. Swampert's gonna come in, and yeah, it's dead to Giga Drain. That's it. Yeah, Sableye just had nothing for Power Meteor Beam, which is, in my opinion, a bit of a misprep. I feel like there were better options. I feel Terra Grass Rillaboom was a bad set because, especially Choice Band. I know he ran Choice Band to kill the Zam, but when you have an Alolan Muck, I don't know why you're so worried about it. Now, given, this Zam was Miracle Eye, so it could have saw through the Dark type and then hit it with a super effective Psychic type. So I guess it was fine, but also Zeraora doesn't outspeed Mega Zam, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like it was just an annoying matchup because he wanted to write. Well, I don't know. I just don't feel. I feel there was a significantly better Terra that he could have come up with outside of Grass for this. And even then, there was a better item, if we're being real. Like, consider Alakazam Mega. You know, Choice Band Grass does a lot, but if we Terra Grass, it does that much. And at that point, you don't even need that anymore. You could just run, like, Miracle Seed or something. Miracle Seed, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there was a better Rillaboom set to run. Overall. But yeah, once Volcarona died to Celesteela, the entire team crumbled. They revealed Air Slash. Sableye was reading it to be Giga Drain. Yeah, so that's why the Swampert didn't come out as soon as it did, because Giga Drain would have just obliterated it and put the Celesteela to full. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like Sableye should have come up with something to deal with the Celesteela on his team, because his team just could not handle it. Like, just straight up, there's just nothing you can do as soon as that Meteor Beam came off. Monem, for the most part, really didn't misplay. The only thing I criticized is the fact that he just let the, he just let the Meteor Beam get knocked off, but even then, he was smart enough to realize that, like, this Muck couldn't really do a ton to him. Like, yeah, 48's bad, but it's not awful. And he's got so many turns that the Meteor Beam can just come off. So, I think it was fine, but I think he could have played it better by getting the Meteor Beam in safely. But it wasn't the worst thing in the world, because it was effective anyways. Yeah. Yeah, a dominant win from Monem, which is good for him. He played it pretty well, had good prep. Yeah, well deserved. Mabel versus Nilly is another quick one. Mabel, I know, was on at like 2 AM her time. So we're going to see Jolteon lead versus Claydol. Shadow Ball is going to do pennies. We're going to see Stealth Rock come off. We're going to see another Shadow Ball as Trick Room comes off, and you already know what's coming in, the Melmetal. We're going to see Tapu Fini come in, which is not a switch-in. And this is not a switch-in either, as we're going to see a fat Steel Roller come off. Getting rid of the terrain. Helmet's going to do a lot, but Fini's just going to come right back out. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. You should just be staying in an Earthquaking here. Like, or not. Yeah. Oh, I think she was predicting Terra Water, Terra Blast. Yeah. But I think at that point you just let the Crook go, because what else is the Crocodile doing for your team? Really? Like, you have Metagross to beat Muck. Yeah, I think you just let this go, because you can kind of tell this Crook was a bit meant for the Melmetal. It's clearly defensive with Intimidate, with Helmet. I think you should just let the Crook go if you thought it was going to be Terra Water, Terra Blast. But at the same time, you do have to stall Trick Room, so I guess I understand it a bit. But, yeah, we're going to see the Fini, and then we're going to see the back, see Mabel go back to Crook. Actually, Melmetal doesn't get Terra Blast, does he? I'm not gonna open up my builder because I'll fucking leak my team for next week. But I'm not sure it gets Terra Blast actually. But either way, we're gonna see this come back in. on the double Iron Bash, we're going to see a lot of helmet chip, which is really good for Mabel. And if we're being honest, that switch wasn't even the worst thing in the world if we're playing safe around it, because Finny didn't die, you wasted turns, you didn't lose a Mon during Trick Room, and you got a bunch of helmet chip on this. So not even that bad. We're going to see knockoff to kill the Claydol. This is perfect. This opens up the Jolteon so much. This is free volt switches across the board. Taunt on the Mola, perfect sense. Put the rocks up. That's max value from this Crocodile. That's a really good value. Skyman's gonna come in. I feel like you're better off going Metagross here, in case this is Scarf Earth Power, but it's fine. We're gonna see Thunder Wave miss. And then we're gonna see Nez just stay in these during these turns. I'm not sure why. This Jolteon is ridiculously good in this team now that Claydol is dead. Like, you just click T-Bolt for free. So I think switching into something else that could deal with this Muck was better. Out comes Affinity. The T-Spike procs before Misty Surge. I know this because I used Finny back in Gen 8 and lost a match to that same gimmick. I told Nilly this when I was helping her prep. So, Reflect, or when I was looking over her team, I didn't really tell her to run specific sets. It was more just like, hey, how does this team look? I went, Toxic Spikes goes before Misty Train. She went, oh, that's funny. Yep, we're gonna see the Metagross come in. This is Agility. We're gonna see Prankster Nasty Plot, which isn't a thing. Nilly's gonna say she misclicked on this Nasty Plot, which is fair. It happens. But at this point, if you're Nilly, you can tell this is solo Agility in terms of dancing. It is not getting through the rest of your team. It's not getting through Mola. At this point, if you're Nez, you have to try to set up for a Tornadus win, which is looking increasingly unlikely, as like this is just free Wish Flip turn for Nilly. And we're going to see exactly that. The Shaman comes out and gets crit. Leech Seeds go up, so it heals a little bit. We're going to see an Earthquake read on the Melmetal. I get it, but Nilly's so ahead, in my opinion, that I feel she can just let this go down and it's no problem. But I understand wanting to go for the read. I think the read was the right play, actually. Try to catch the Melmetal, because Nez is so far down that letting that Melmetal get Leech Seed is just so awful. So I think Earthquake was a good play. It was just super risky given that this is a flying type, It happens. Out comes Delmise. We're going to see another Wish. This time Hard Swap. We're going to see Spin. This needed to happen like a lot of turns ago, but it happens. And now this Melmetal's back to full. And this game is pretty much over at this point. Yeah, there's just not much Nez can do. This was a really good Psychic Fangs reading Terra, though, I will say. But we get no flinch on the Air Slash, so that is game. Yeah, Mabel just... sacking the Jolteon to the Muck, I don't think was a good play. I think you needed to keep that, especially because Mola just had no answers on this team. Yeah. Mabel just kept letting the Mola wish up, which, like, Nilly's gonna do that. Whole team back to full. That's not what happened, but she could have if she wanted to. She had the turns. But yeah, pretty dominant win from Nilly. The Trick Room early was really good pressure into Nez's team, and then, yeah, she just struggled to keep up after that. Trading the Muck 1-for-1 for the Jolteon was really good as well. Yeah. Yeah. Well played from Nilly. Nez did really well. Couple plays went wrong. It just happens. Yeah, I don't think there's a ton she could have done, because with that team, especially with Jolteon going down, I think that was the big turning point, with Jolteon going down. Mola just had no more answers. Like, there was just nothing she could do to stop Mola. So, yeah. Icarus versus Aalaxel. This battle frustrated me to no end. We're going to see lead Tapu Lele. So I cooked up this team. I said, you're going to lead Lele, and pretty much no matter what, click Fling. Why are you clicking Fling? It's Flame Orb. This effectively makes the Scizor useless for the rest of the game. You can't stay in here. You go Typhlosion, which is perfect because this is Helmet Typhlosion. And we're going to see the Keldeo come out. Icarus has an Assault Vest Dracovish specifically designed to switch into this Keldeo. Instead, he's just going to stay in and let this go down, which is I'm not even sure what he was clicking this turn, because this didn't have options to hit the Keldeo. So this was really bad, because now we have no more switches to Scizor. The whole game plan with this team was be bulkier and beat Aalaxel's pivoting, because you're, on average, you're just gonna not take a lot of damage from U-turn, flip turn, Volt Switch. And you can deal big damage back with your Mons, but that's not gonna matter when the Scizor can just come in on everything and roost up. Even if it can't do any damage, he can roost up and soak all that outputting damage with the Scizor, and Icarus has no healing. So, we're going to see Psychic Fangs as the Ogerpon comes out, terrain boosted. We're going to see Hard Lele on the knockoff, and then it's going to die to Cudgel. That wasn't particularly bad, but, yeah. We're going to see Fezandipity come in, get a Gunk Shot Poison. We have to switch to T-Tar, which is totally fair. Earthquake, or, oh no, Knockoff's gonna come off. Which I think is a misplay. This team is so free to click Earthquake into, like, I think clicking EQ would have just been better. We're gonna see Rock Soap, which is really important. And if you're Icarus, you can still win with the Dracovish, because it doesn't really have switch-ins, especially after this knock takes both this Scarf and most of its HP. You can absolutely win with Dracovish. So we're gonna see it come in here. Assault Vest means it's not gonna take much. And we're gonna see, I think, Psychic Fangs. And then this turn, we're gonna see Dragon Rush, which is an awful play. To be honest, like, you just Vicious Rend. Literally, there's no reason to click Dragon Rush into this team at all. Yeah, I don't know why that was clicked, because now he just gets a free roost. And that Vicious Rend would have killed too, because judging from that damage. Instead, this thing takes 29% more, and now Darm comes in and kills it. And now the game is over. There's nothing Icarus can do to stop this now. He's gonna go right to Keldeo, click Terra Water Surf, which he could have just clicked Secret Sword, but it's understandable. He just wants to keep his lead. And then now this is in range of Earthquake, so is pretty much everything else. We're gonna hard swap Fezandipity, which we should just be sacking the T-Tar at this point, if we even want to still win the game. But also Iron Crown is Jack Button, so there's just not much he can do. Wait, what? He changed it to Leftovers. Oh. Never mind then, I guess. Yeah. I put a Jack Button on this for the Dragapult, but, because it was going to be switch this into the Dragapult and then get T-Tar in with Pursuit, but yeah. Couple of misplays. I think this game was absolutely winnable if played properly, but instead we let Keymons go down way too early. Letting Typhlosion go down really early was terrible. Staying on the Keldeo was just like a never-do option, and then letting Dracovish go down as well was also not good, because it still could have won. To be honest, not taking the kill on the Scizor, the Dracovish still could have won. Ogerpon was in range of Vicious Rend. With Sand, this Dracovish still absolutely could have won this game. Everything was in range. But yeah, that's a solid 5-0 from Aalaxel. So, that's all I got this week. My class starts in 15 minutes, and I still gotta walk to it, so I better get going. I'll have this uploaded shortly. I don't know how long that'll take. I'll at least have to get out of class. Or I guess I could render it in class. Yeah, well, yeah. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Week 5, we have a lot of big changes to the teams. We'll also see Litfam, who's currently 4-0, will be available to make playoffs, or clinch playoffs if he just wins his next game. So, yeah, see you guys next week.